Thresh, like the Sivir, a lot more, you know, team fight-esque champions, utility more or less, versus the hyper carries that something like a Vars can bring.
Yeah, I want to see Dawn on a really hyper-aggressive AD carry. You've seen him. We've already seen Kanji on maybe the carry snowball playstyle on the Jace. It didn't work out, so perhaps Liyab can move towards the checklist. Maybe put Dawn in a more aggressive champion. Maybe let's just see maybe a Kai'Sa coming from Dawn if that works out, and you know, not worry about the spring curse. Machi though, banning out the Thresh and Karma, so we'll have to see how that works out.
Does mean that Rex won't be on Karma duty this time around, but for Liyab, what do they want to go ahead and get priority on immediately here in this draft? Might be looking at something like this set, which I don't know if that's necessarily your first pick go-to, but it appears that's going to be the plan as it gets locked in.
Personally, I am not a big fan of jungle set, maybe sometimes support on Mocha, maybe sometimes on Kanji, but it just means, again, they will mostly default to either these skirmishes, maybe even the 5v5s, which is, you know, Liyab's victories are mostly snowbally when we look at spring, which means this is, again, another potentially different playstyle, but, you know, Bruce going back to his Ezreal pick.
Well, in doubt, I guess they go back to the Ezreal. That's some things never change if you're on the side of Machi.
Trundle too.
Wow, all right. So that's, again, Gemini getting something that he likes to play, something like a Trundle, and as far as this is Machi's. This is a stereotypical red side Machi draft already from what we're seeing. This doesn't seem like anything crazy.
Yeah, it seems to me Machi will proceed to be playing a little bit standard, no experimentation. But you know what? Aphelios is open. Machi is very confident leaving that open. They just don't want the Thresh. But at the same time, let's see. I feel like this is, I believe this is the first time we're going to be seeing Dawn on the Aphelios.
Yeah, this is, for us, one of the first instances that we are going to see Dawn on something like a carry that can carry into the late game and be an absolute monster. So we'll see if Liyab are going to go ahead and dedicate resources. Doi on Lee Sin. I was hoping for a little bit more of a team player-esque, you know, jungle to come out of Doi. Likely now means, though, that set might be going up to Kanji in the top lane or still possibly a support pickup for Mocha.
I mean, he tried in the previous game against HKA as the set jungle, so I really am a big fan of, you know, Dodoy's Lee Sin. It has contributed to a couple of steals, a couple of playmaking events in the spring split. Mission, though, going back to the Syndra, unless, you know, they flex it out with Bruce, but, you know, Ezreal is already there.
Yeah, when in doubt, just fall back on what works, it seems, here for Mission. He had a really good Syndra game yesterday. Unfortunately, the rest of the team just really didn't utilize him, I think, all that well. And it's also, I'm going to blame Bruce a little bit, or not Bruce, Mission a little bit. We have seen him, you know, when his team just isn't doing well, he'll just kind of AFK in a side lane, even on something like a Syndra, and can get caught out a couple times. I'm interested now, though, for Liyab, this does give the opportunity for Rex to find a big counter pick in mid lane if he opts to try and go toe-to-toe here with Mission, as the LeBlanc is going to be banned out, as well as the Galio on the side of Machi.
Makes me wonder, have we ever seen Rex on, will we see the usual Echo in the mid lane, I wonder, or will Liyab try something quite similar to Resurgence where it's absolutely unexpected? Will we see Rex on the utility once more, as the Zoe yesterday didn't work out so well? But I guess, you know, this is the matchup that we always see against the Syndra, and the Echo will be picked.
Yeah, it looks like for Rex, it is going to be that Echo. We have seen him have some success back in spring. First appearance we'll see of it in summer. Now for Liyab, I'm interested. Are you going to throw that set up in the top lane, or is it going to be a support? Because now with that Bard being shown, it's not a fun time, but it does mean Kanji could go on something like a carry once again. All the team here is acting like carries, so they have to do well in lane, or else I don't know how well this is going to go for Liyab.
Yeah, I was just going to say this is a very, very greedy draft. This is very reliant on how they do well and when it comes to the early phases of the game. And, you know, Dodoi has to take a lot of weight. And you know what? Volibear is open. We can see PK carrying that Volibear top side.
All right, so Kanji this time around will have the matchup into the volley bear. At least, you know, Jace does have a little bit of range, you know, in the cannon form. But I do believe PK will be able to jump on top of him early, so we'll see how that's going to go. The last time we saw volley bear top, it was from Resurgence. Shensekai wasn't the most pretty game that we saw as it got played into Illusion, but we see here Liyab looking for their first victory of summer up against Machi, which, you know, Machi has a lot of comfort picks. The bot side of the map is all just comfort with a Syndra Ezreal Bard.
Exactly, and I feel like, you know, this volley bear will definitely be the X factor when it comes to Machi, and I feel like they're feeling confident. Despite having not the best of starts, that also happened at Spring. You know, they had to alternate wins and losses, but then it skyrocketed them into a 15-win streak in Spring on their way to the playoffs. So you never know. It's just probably the week 1, week 2 jitters.
That's the hope here for Machi. It's similar to what we saw last in Spring, like you mentioned. This team sometimes need to find their footing. Maybe, you know, they're a little rusty from that break. They said, oh, we wanted to, you know, chill back a little bit after the mid-season showdown. Maybe that's the issue. For Liyab, though, I'm going to say it right now. You got yourself 2 really heavy-hitting matchups today. Try and open it up with a good early game. Get some momentum in your sails, and maybe this team will be able to find their first victory of summer. It's going to be tough, though. They're up against Machi as we go ahead and load on into the Rift for our second game of the day.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I'm an absolute fan of that new Bard skin, by the way. You know, the space Bard.
Astronaut Bard.
Is it astronaut
Space Bard sounds
Space
better.
Bard. It sounds like a much more of a Bard line skin. You know, there's Bard, and then there's, you know, Snow Day Bard. I would say just Space Bard. Actually, I guess normal
Space
Bard is pretty spacey. I'm just saying. He's
Yeah,
like a
normal Bard is
celestial.
already spacey.
Yeah, he's a pretty celestial being right there. Good, I'm waiting. Give me another Bard and another cinematic with Bard in it. I'll be pretty happy. If you're here on the side of Liyab, like I mentioned, I think it's a crucial early game where they have to find something. Especially if you're going to be running Kanji something on a Jace. You got to get a Jace ahead, especially up against a volley bear. If PK goes even, yeah, he's just going to teleport in on these fights and add a whole lot more value versus what a Jace can build, or what a Jace can do during skirmishes like that.
And I'm absolutely scared too. We can see teams that can, when they're very confident, they do not think twice to get these early dives. And I feel like, you know, Gemini here on this Trundle, PK here on this volley bear does enable that. And Jace is such a vulnerable lane. I mean, you got that gate, you got at least a flash, but once you're under tower, it might be a little bit difficult. At least though, Kanji can try to set up HP, try to poke a little bit on towards PK to sort of relieve his own pressure at topside.
There we are. Yeah, this is going to be Doi just going to his blue buff, so maybe we'll start to just see a little bit of a skirmish toward the top side of the map as both junglers have path. We'll see maybe if Kanji and PK get a little bit of action themselves. Level 2 hitting that bot lane. Unfortunately, there isn't a thresh really for Liyab. I'm going to say, you know what is a sigh of okay, Mocha, that's a rather aggressive play you want to be going for here. Haymaker comes out, gets a little bit of damage as that was the Ignite used immediately onto Koala. Meanwhile, top lane, Machi, they're just going to go ahead and get the gang rolling. That's first blood going on over to Gemini.
And we were talking about how vulnerable a Jace can be, and unfortunately, any sort of counter gank might not help. Teleport though.
Oh, Doi going to try and equal out the kill total. In comes Ganji as well. He wants to try and at least get a kill himself. PK, though, Gemini is there to soak up all the damage. Unfortunately, can't do anything. And, ooh, Doi got to be a little bit careful himself as I like it from Liyab. They tried to respond with a kill of their own, but it just didn't work.
Flash has been used for both teams, and at least for Dodoy, he still has his Flash intact. So if he does want to visit a lane, he does have that finisher or that sort of escape. And again, not a lot of vision to work with. Kanji was just prime in position for that gank. It's just so easy too. You place a really nice pillar, PK just approaches you for that additional CC, and then literally there's no escape.
Meanwhile, mid lane, saw there, Rex, not afraid to get up and personal there with Mission. Is going to be just the back off though, so. All right, Dodoy at least paying attention to his lanes, at least trying to get things up and rolling, but Gemini was the first one to strike in the matchup between the two squads, and I did mention, Gemini has a good game. Usually Machi are going to have a pretty easy time. Also a nice little stun there coming out from Koala, who his Bard is a bit disgusting. And Gemini, he isn't slowing down on the top side of the map. Again, putting down the pillar. PK should be able to get the stun. No, just out of range. Gemini, got to be a little bit careful, but that is going to force at least Kanji in the top lane to back off.
And this is the plan in mind for Machi, because which one has the most vulnerable... Who has the most vulnerable lane? And for me, it is definitely Kanji's side. It is a two birds in one stone kind of thing. You got the volley bear going, and at the same time, you shut down one of Liyab's sources of where it could get out of control. And for now, though, Mission, nicely done.
Wow, Rex, that's aggressive. He wants to trade back, says, I do not care if you had a full combo on me. I'll get it back on top of you. It's seeming to be a bit of a race to whoever hits level 6. Is Mission really getting greedy? But Dodoy, unfortunately, a little bit late to the party as the minions are able to intercept any Q if it was presented.
Now, beautifully done. Dodoy still sticking around.
Mission's playing with his food right now. He knows that Dodoy's still around the corner, can pretty much guess. Oh, Dodoy! That's a bit aggressive. Gemini is below in the river, but it looks like Mission's a little bit afraid to try and go for anything.
Still sticking around, very, very far forward. Again, Flash is available. Kanji is able to set up at least a comfy HP lead against PK, at least in the lane. But yeah, it was a little bit risky for Rex to be aggressive, but it is due to the fact that, you know, cooldowns were off on Mission side, therefore is open for the trade, open for the dive, and Dodoy was already intending to visit in the mid lane. But just as you mentioned, because of the new wave incoming, it was just very hard for Dodoy to set up a Q landing on towards Mission.
Well, he wasn't afraid. We did see there. He
did.
threw out a resonating straight and just said, hey, Mission, you think you just walk away after, you know, you mess up my mid laner? Coming in, defending Rex's honor? Meanwhile, bot lane, Koala might get caught out, but he's got himself a magical journey to get back to safety. Still at about half health. Meanwhile, Gemini, he's paying attention now toward this mid lane. Rex, though, does have ultimate, has 2 levels. Dodoy wants to join in on the action, ends up missing the Q, though. So that will be the unfortunate end toward any kind of skirmish going in favor of Liyab.
Non-stop aggression, and, you know, Gemini is forced to run around places, and possibly, you know, because of so much chaos is happening in the bot.
Comes over, spots out Mocha. Meanwhile, Mission here in mid lane, might be taken down low, but Rex still not going to go ahead and pull the trigger on his ultimate combo. Mission the same, just holding on to that. And, you know, mid lane's starting to get a little bit chaotic. You see that Rex is just aching for a little bit of action. Is, again, another Ignite being used here on Koala.
Very aggressive, and they are hoping to get a dive in.
Let's see. Rex pops Parallel Convergence. Isn't able to get the stun, but Koala gets himself back to safety. Going to go ahead and use the ultimate to get himself back away. Like that, unfortunately, Liyab not able to find a successful dive.
Take note, last time they faced each other was back in the very, very crucial gauntlet for Liyab to make it to playoffs. And with Machi, they were consistently on top of either the bot side of the map, just trying to pressure and see whether or not they can find these kills. And because of the pressure, because of priority, they are able to get that first dragon, and it's just perfect timing too, because the Rift Herald is about to spawn in a few seconds.
So for Liyab, at least, I'm liking a little bit of the early aggression. They're actually able to match Machi, it seems. Gemini is kind of slowing down a little bit. Actually, still only level 4. He's been kind of all over the place. As Dodoy starting to get himself a bit of a experience lead, as Rift Herald has also spawned. He should be able to secure that top scuttle.
Yeah, because Dodoy was constantly pestering mid lane and bot, you know, Gemini was forced to abandon top side and see what he can do to try and counter gank. And because of that, Kanji also had a little bit of breathing room to see and poke out PK and not let things go out of control. Now they have first dibs on this area for the Rift Herald.
Now both teams, though, bring up 5 members and for Liyab. Not looking half bad here, as that should be the Rift Herald in favor. We'll see whether or not Machi want to try and answer. Doidoy gets himself a little bit preoccupied. Now at the very last second, oh, it's over. Who's going to take it? It's going to be PK stealing it with the auto attack. In comes the Stormbringer. And now, just like that, Machi are able to zone away Liyab, and that is tragic. Liyab, they could just finish the Rift Herald if they wanted to. They decide not to.
You can tell the fear, you can tell the respect. They had to back away. And the thing is, they didn't have information where Bruce, or rather where Mission was. It was, for a moment, a 4v5 situation because Mission had to walk back to base as he did not have teleport. So that is very unfortunate. You know, they didn't have that information. I feel like if they had that info, they would be a little bit more brave to step forward, possibly even start a fight.
Meanwhile, bot lane, this is going to be a lot of gold, though, getting just hammered in onto Bruce. That should be at least 1, possibly 2 turret plates, as Dawn has to step back away from the tower. So, unfortunately, you usually like to see the Aphelios being the one actually getting the turret plating early on in the game. And Machi also going to get a successful invade, looking to seal away the red, maybe opting to go for a dive here in bot, as that's 4 members of the squad.
Exactly, and because Dawn was pushed way back, he had to miss a lot of caster minions hitting the tower. So that is quite unfortunate, as Mocha was a little bit late to going back to his carry. Meanwhile, Dodoy, though, making his way here at bot side.
Unfortunately there, Rift Herald is going to be able to get a charge. Bruce gets some more gold into his pocket in this Ezreal. Starting to get a little bit accelerated here, as Liyab are not able to answer here in bot, and that's a 1,500 gold lead just naturally starting to form in favor of Machi.
But one of the questions, though, nicely done by Kanji.
Yeah, he's able to get that bash back on the Q from PK, so keeps him a little bit of distance, but still has to be afraid of that trade.
Absolutely. And when we before we went to the broadcast, we were wondering, how does Dawn fare against Bruce, who was one of the top 80 carries in spring. Again, this is Dawn, a rookie coming from the Philippines, and he is actually faring really well. He is ahead in CS against Bruce and has been having priority and has been very brave.
And Kanji wants to go for this 1v1. PK does not have his ultimate. Does get pushed back, though. So it looks like he's not going to fully commit, as he's looking to go back himself. Has teleport available if he wants to enter back into the lane, but we kind of mentioned we want to see this Jace be able to find a kill. Needs to get some kills rolling, and there it is. Going to get the shock blast into the hammer slam, and a nice kill coming out from Kanji, able to play the mind games, faking the back.
PK did not see that coming. Yes, it was playing mind games. Teleport coming from Rex.
Trying to get aggressive, maybe hoping he can find a flank. Ends up taking about 1/3 of his health. Let's take another look, though, at that 1v1 in top.
Yeah, we were talking about setting HP trade, setting a kill range, and this worked so well. He hugged the wall, managed to circle towards this brush, waited for PK to be a little bit greedy, step forward, and clear his own waves, the enemy waves rather, and that's going to be a kill for Kanji. Bruce, though.
So now we're starting to see a little bit of the fresh faces of Liyab. We were wondering, when are these rookies going to start showing all that promise, all that prospect talent that Cabbage and the rest of this team have been, you know, preaching when it comes to these new roster pickups? We get to see in bot lane. Looks like Mocha was able to help set up a possible play with Bruce just not paying attention to the rush.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where there's not a lot of respect, again, towards the brush plays, expecting that possibly Liyab will not be aggressive, because that's what's been happening for the other matches. And nicely done. They're able to find a pick, send, you know, Bruce home again, and the CS gap is slowly building in favor of Dawn here.
Yeah, got about a 23 CS lead. Unfortunately, though, with those ultimates being burned, they won't have that for this possible fight around the dragon. Doidoy might be looking for a steal, realizing, hey, somebody's already on over there. Pillar comes out from Gemini, just prevent him from going over the wall. And it's the first dragon for Machi picked up, as it's going to be Infernal Soul for our game between the two squads.
Looks like it's going to be A-okay as, yeah, it's still 1 apiece. No hurries whatsoever. Meanwhile, Mocha trying to set again for another possible Hex Flash. Just go towards Bruce and Facebreaker.
Gonna be waiting for that showstopper, though.
Showstopper, yes.
Well, it's still a Facebreaker. That was the one thing actually
Truly.
Mocha missed during his last combo. If he actually hit that, that might have been enough damage to take him down. Koala actually got a really clutch heal we didn't get to mention going through the magical journey to get over to safety for Bruce. Dodoi wants to make an appearance here, but did get spotted out by a control ward, so unfortunately he's going to lose that surprise element if he does go for a play, and looks like Dawn and them are just going to allow them to push back.
Yeah, Machi seems to be very angry with their control vision, their control wards. There's a lot on the river side too, at Rift Herald area, and as well as bot side. And therefore, it's a little bit tricky for Dodoi to make his own presence as, again, Machi has a lot of vision control.
Oh, Rex, though, getting aggressive. Luckily for him, Mission not able to land that Q. Could have been the trigger pull to try and go for a play, knowing that Gemini is nearby to follow up on the ultimate. Rex, though, keeping himself safe. That's the one difference, though, for Machi, as far as lanes go, is primarily this mid lane. Mission's been able to farm himself up about a 20 CS advantage, counteracting Dawn's advantage we see down bot.
I'm a little bit worried though, because the plan from the first 10 minutes of the game was Dodoi creating impact in the bot side of the map to distract Gemini, leaving Kanji a little bit of room. Gemini though has worked his way at top side. He's now visiting top lane for Kanji.
Unfortunately, he's
It's
going to
not
get
good.
spotted out, and he tried to go for a complete back. Not going to happen. Has Flash available, ends up popping it, and a nice pillar coming out from Gemini. Is he going to be able to secure the kill? No assist going on over to PK, but it don't matter. Gemini's going to be happy picking up his second. Meanwhile, mid lane, Rex going to get caught out by the Bard. Ulti has his own ult available. Dawn, though, steps forward, ends up using the heal to keep Rex alive.
I'm, again, a little bit worried. I love this Liyab, though. They're a little bit more confident, aggressive, and they're very sure. It seems like there's no hesitation with their calls, and I'm loving it. Meanwhile, though, Rift Herald has spawned in the map. So far, it's a pretty low kill score, considering it is a Liyab game. 15 minutes, 3 kills overall. And yeah, Gemini was pretty much very done being present at bot side to match Dodoi, and he made the right call going towards top and take advantage of Kanji, you know, sort of free reigning at top side and bullying PK.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of the symptoms we saw back when Kurd was the top laner for Liyab. A lack of vision when you're always pushing in your enemy top laner. Ends up biting him. We'll see if he'll learn here. Does finish off his Ghost Blade. Liyab, though, this time around, Rift Herald is going to be theirs as Machi nowhere near to contest. Or,
who's gonna get the...
Okay, they're giving it to Rex.
Okay, they're gonna give it to Rex. Okay.
I was like,
a little
guys.
bit worried.
It's like, I just said you got Rift Herald. Don't do this to me.
Well, okay, Rex has the Rift Herald now. He can move towards possibly taking down mid lane just to constrict mission space a little bit more. Have mid lane control either towards top side area or maybe the Dragon River area. Meanwhile, though, Machi is making their way and pushing towards this mid lane instead.
You see Gemini just doing Trundle things, laying down some pillars, just trying to slow down Liyab as Bruce looking to now stack up his Muramana, as well as picked up his Sheen. Going into that blue build, Ezreal. Looks like he's also going to go cloth armor, so that likely means an Iceborne Gauntlet as well. Going a little bit more of that unkillable Ezreal with the Conqueror, as we are still on 10.12. One thing to note, though, is Dawn has hit his first item, which is that Vintage. Now looking for a Zeal item to be complete before he really starts to come online. And you gotta love Rift Herald being baited, not able to smash in on tower. Koala with a nice Bard ulti.
Beautifully done. They're able to rescue the tower. Not a lot of value being attained because of that Rift Herald, and that is quite unfortunate. Well done by Machi. 15 seconds on the clock, though, for this dragon, and the big question is, Liyab, will they be able to find a pick, find an entrance for them to be comfy enough to take this dragon? Because earlier, the first Rift Herald was stolen because of that volley bear auto.
All right, let's see here. Rex going to go ahead, puts out the parallel convergence just to get the slow on to Bruce. Bruce wants to try and get Prio in mid. Can see, though, Machi just hugging the edge of the river. Doidoi is nearby. Meanwhile, mid, ooh, Rex getting aggressive. Bruce got to be a little bit careful. Liyab, though, they still are just trying to make a beeline for this dragon without worrying about the possible poke that's coming out from Machi.
Yeah, Doidoi,
Doidoi
might be... Ooh.
Little bit of
flash.
Oh, whoa, Mocha getting hyper aggressive. In comes Kanji over the wall, wants to try and finish off the kill onto Gemini, and the Trundle's still alive. Rex in the back line, not able to find the kill as PK ends up popping the Stormbreaker. He's a big volley bear. But now, without being able to kill Gemini, this is maybe possibly a lost fight. PK jumps in, gets the stun onto Mocha immediately. Haymaker comes out, gets a little bit of damage on back wall. Magical Journey, there's a true shot barrage. Mocha able to dodge it, but now Kanji is going to the main target. He gets taken down as Machi find now their first kill in the last 10 minutes. Parallel convergence, there it is not, because it's the Tempered Fate coming out from Koala. Mocha goes down low, Bruce finds his kill, and Liyab, they were able to hold the floodgates for at least 19 minutes, but finally, Machi start knocking.
That was a very prolonged chase, a very prolonged poke here and there before, Liyab decided to initiate the dragon. And Machi, all they had to do was wait. Also, patience is a virtue too, coming from Mission, to wait to where, the unleashed power will be used. And I'm excited to see this again. This is quite unfortunate from Doidoi because he already lost a flash here and managed to kick, didn't get the resonating strike in, and again, Koala is just a really good Bard player in this game in particular.
Yeah, he almost felt like that Dawn, he was meant to go near that wall, but instead kind of packed back, was more focused on himself, and that costed Doidoi his flash. And you saw there, Rex, he's trying to get that dive, trying to find key members of Machi, but just isn't able to do it, especially when there's an exhaust being used immediately from Koala.
Yeah, they weren't able to, snowball ahead. It is just, one kill in favor of Liyab after all this time. And because of that, they aren't able to finish certain targets. And again, unfortunately, I feel like they could have minimized their losses for Liyab, but Doidoi went back, tried to save his teammate. But it's unfortunately not enough. And now Muramana fully stacked, even having that gauntlet in, and it's absolutely even harder to pin down Bruce.
Now I'm getting worried here for Liyab. Is the floodgates open? Have Machi now broken open this game and caused enough chaos that's going to end up costing Dawn is the main target, and he just gets chunked apart there by PK, and Bruce is on a killing spree. Rex can't even use his ultimate. That's 3 members of Liyab wiped on the map, and Machi already making a path toward Baron.
And this is the part where it's going to spin out of control in favor of Machi. And just as you mentioned, they're going to work their way towards this Baron because their important carries are gone. Now, this is the time, though, where usually Doidoi on the Lee Sin would like to make a possible steal.
Doidoi's only level 9, though. You see, he just gets chunked by Bruce on the Essence Flux, and there you go. That Ezreal could just chunk out a Lee Sin with one Mystic Shot combo, and there you are. That's going to be Baron secured by Machi, and that's now, what, a 6,000 gold lead now formed out of the last 3 minutes of play.
And this is the time where Machi will just explode. That's the time where once they win a solid team fight, when they're very confident enough, they just keep going and going and just not allow Liyab to do a potential to turn things around. And unfortunately, Dawn, for the second time, was not in the best position to deal a lot of damage from the backline, because from earlier in the Dragon Pit, no one was in the front line, and as well as today, this particular replay. And it's pretty hard, considering this composition in general, you have to rely on just Mocha to peel for you, and the rest will probably just try to dive in for damage.
Yeah, you saw the Doidoi. Kind of have to admit somebody's going to come on over that wall. And the fact he's only level 9 on this Lee Sin, he started to fall a bit behind of Gemini, now 2 levels. And it's now closing into a 7,000 gold lead. Is there going to be anything that Liyab can do? PK is able to find a kill in a 1v3. Sure, you get your shutdown over to the Jace. But Kanji, he needed to have 3 kills before, 20 minutes at this point to be effective as a split lane pressure.
Exactly, and opting for that Manamune build, so having to still build stack in, which means, the way that this Jace is going to deal a lot of damage is halted a little bit into that build path. And with that said, PK was just trying to remove vision. Unfortunately, was a little bit confident walking into a visionless jungle for Liyab.
Yeah, and you see Doidoi, unfortunately, he gets killed once again. I think now he's going to be down 3 levels compared to Gemini. This poor Lee Sin having a rough time as Gemini is now going to apply pressure with Mission. They are able to get the second tier tower in bot lane. We see Gemini
dancing.
He's dancing. He don't care right now. They picked their own second tier tower. And you start to see the collapse of Liyab. They were able to last for the first 15 minutes of the map. I will give them that, but it comes down to one bad decision, and these top teams from the PCS in spring will absolutely punish you every single time. Mocha goes over the wall, trying to jump on top of Bruce, but still can't close the gap. That's a beautiful pillar combo coming out alongside Koala. True Shot Barrage coming out as well. PK will find his kill off the teleport. Rex on the back line, has to use his ultimate, get back to safety. Koala cuts him back off. Unfortunately, the Echo can't dance anymore. That's going to be Bruce going unstoppable. And now Machi continue the push with Baron in the top lane.
That was a beautiful Tempered Fate from Koala. Again, his Tempered Fates and as well as his Qs has been really, really on point. And now that's 2 seconds, or rather 2 members down for the count as Machi continues to destroy the base of Liyab.
There you are. Inhibitor taken on the top side of the map. Machi gonna start ripping apart these objectives, and now you're looking at about a 10,000 gold lead for Machi. And that is just the difference we are finding with a lot of our, mid-pack to bottom-pack teams in the PCS. The ability to create such large gold generations off just tiny picks here and there or small advantages and just blow it out of proportion. And then just accelerate the game out of control and try and end. You see Dawn almost gets half health entirely. Mocha uses Showstopper into the Facebreaker, but guess what? The rest of the team is trying to kill Mission, and Bruce is now dominating.
And at this point, where are your options? PK going in.
Doidoi wants to jump in. Rex has to go golden, and you can clearly tell for Liyab, there is not a true shot caller on this team at the moment. They are split in focus, and they have fallen apart here in just under 5 minutes. And Machi should be able to look for the base.
Yeah, Shirley is activated. They're making their way towards the base of Liyab, and unfortunately, it's just Dawn, the sole survivor of that clash.
And unfortunately, Dawn, sure, he was able to get his rune hands, but it's 25 minutes. The Nexus towers are getting taken down. He's being zoned away. And for Liyab, there was hope, but Machi, they absolutely diminish it in the course of just a couple minutes, able to continue this rampage of Gemini, and that's going to be the victory over to Machi.
Machi will definitely enjoy this win, considering they are 2-2 in the standings before this game. And yeah, pretty much a standard game coming from Machi, unfazed whatsoever. Even Gemini doing a little bit of dance at the last few minutes of this match.
Oh, if Gemini is just, control 3 and just dancing in the side lane, yeah, I think it's pretty much over. And we'll give it to Liyab. Early game didn't look all that bad, but it seems like the game plan is just never executed the way that they need to. When you're having Doidoi on this Lee Sin, you have a Jace up in the top lane that's going to be providing so much pressure up against this Volibear. And we know what happens with Volibear if he falls behind. We saw it in the Resurgence matchup. He feels absolutely useless. Unfortunately, this Jace, if he's not able to get a couple kills early, it also starts to feel useless. And then it doesn't really matter how built you are when the team is focused on 4 different members of Machi during a team fight.
Yeah, I think their target selection and their positioning was, it can be improved still, but I think, it's just, I feel like it's a huge improvement today in comparison to the rest of the days, the rest of the matches that Liyab has played. Yeah, they've, individually speaking, they managed to, Kanji is able to do a solo kill against PK. You've got Dawn, another rookie from the team, is able to match Bruce in the bottom side of the map. It's the 5v5s is where they sadly collapse, and I think it has something to do with, just as you mentioned, the communication of the team.
Yeah, it just seems like everyone's kind of on a different page at this point, and there's also times where vision was a little bit lackluster, and it starts to really fall apart there for Liyab, as that was just that team fight that broke open into a Baron. MVP, though, going to go on over to Koala on the Bard.
No complaints whatsoever. He had a lot of key tempered fates and as well as stuns, and even comboing it with the pillar too. So there's coordination between Koala and as well as Gemini here in this game, and you know, he's definitely one of the scary Bard players of the PCS.
Yeah, there's a reason why his Bard was pretty nasty and why the PCS Bard was always that niche peak from the support role during spring that had something like a 90% win rate over the course of like 12 games. It just kept poking its head on over the side of the rift and finding success. So congratulations over to Machi as well as the rest of the squad for picking up the victory there. And they now sit 3-2. Liyab, on the other hand, 0-4, and they still have one more game to play today later up against AHQ.
Yeah, they've got to face another big titan of from spring, which is the third place AHQ. A little bit worried, but hopefully this defeat, considering again they did pretty well in the early phases of the game, does not, you
大家
know,
好，我是 Machi 的上路 PK。
face them.
好的，那我们请内群跟他聊聊。
好，那我们现在问你第一个问题，就是在春季赛初期的时候，其实 Machi 也是打得比较颠簸一点，跟现在夏季赛状况有点像。那你觉得连续遇到这样问题的原因是什么？是技术要适应版本吗，或者是其他原因？
So Machi Esports was like last season was a little bit slow at adapting. So is it because you guys need to make changes, or was it because you guys need some time to adjust to the meta?
因为夏季赛在之前我们在季后赛跟季中赛因为输了嘛，就不如例行赛那么顺利。然后夏季赛这中间休息的时间其实没有很长，所以我们还是需要一点时间来调整。
So we lost in MSS and also in the playoffs, and it wasn't as good as the regular season last season. So we need some time. We didn't have a lot of time to practice in the time the resting time. So we need some time to make adjustments during this season.
好的，那第二个问题是，当然你这场用的是一个佛利贝尔全新的一个英雄，那他其实本身的出场率就不算太高，包括其他赛区其实也都是可能零星的几场。那你怎么评价这个英雄呢？
So we didn't see a lot of Volibear so far in this season. So what is your opinion of the champion?
我觉得这角色就中规中矩吧，就有些上路比较强势的英雄 ban 掉的情况，还是可以拿出来用一下。
So I think this champion is pretty normal. If some really strong champions on the top lane are banned, you can use it.
好的，非常感谢 PK， 也非常感谢我们的翻译的姐姐，我们的采访也在这边先告一个段落。
Oh, there you hear it. It looks like Machi kind of understand that, hey, you know, that play that we saw back over at MSS looked a little bit unfortunate. And they understand, hey, you know, we have to kind of, you know, sure up our lines of play and try and fix things.
Yeah, it's all about having to adjust to different play styles, as they were definitely accustomed to more of the PSG Talon play style in the AHQ, which is a little bit slower. So now they seem to be very accustomed to, again, to the LSD style of play.
The LST style of play, you could say, yes. Well, for now, we are going to go ahead and take a break. Coming up, though, it is going to be, of course, Resurgence taking on J-Team. So stick around. More action from the PCS after a short break.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.